This is Jana Beth from Davis County. Our district is utilizing two different models for peer observation. The first that we're most excited about is our virtual peer observation. And in that model, we have teachers all across the Commonwealth giving feedback to some of our pilot teachers. We have two video cameras that have traveled around the district this year, and their teachers record their lessons on their own. They're quick to update that information and put it on the web. And then via the web, the teachers get feedback from a virtual peer. So that method is great from just a total outsider looking at your classroom, and the ease of the cameras moving about. And it's actually, in my opinion, we've been able to use some of those videos with the teacher's permission to actually do some calibration of district administrators and school administrators on just observations in general. And what I see with the peer observation camera is I see teachers doing what I would call authentic lessons. They literally just put the camera up and let it roll. So we are so pleased to see kind of the day-to-day quality of teaching, because sometimes when you have a visitor come to your class, I think you often might put on that kind of go back to your student teaching days, you know, your student teacher show. But with the video cameras, they're just letting them roll. The second model is a more traditional model, and that is actually a person coming into your classroom to observe during windows 2 and 3, one of those two. And we have used our staff developers, which are our lead teachers, to help with that this year as a way of introduction. And with that, we thought each of them have at least two peers they're observing. And from the peers' perspective, we've mixed up with people from your school or outside of your school in hopes of getting feedback. Do they like the person from outside of their school, or would they rather have somebody from inside their school? So we're going to have a range of kind of observation models going, but we hope to figure out what works best.
Okay, this is Abby Griffy, and I'm from Marshall County. And we have a hybrid model that we're using this year where we have cameras and we video every observation. We also have the liberty of having a peer observer in the room with the teacher while she is videoing. The district team set up of 18, and 9 of those are being observed and also are observers, and the other 8 are just observed. So now we find some challenge with transferring the two cameras within 10 schools, but nothing we haven't overcome. But we the cameras, and I think that that option has worked fine. I know our teachers like the fact that I think the ones that we've got some videos, and what I've heard is that the teachers that are in the building with them, giving their observation, giving their feedback, they really like that. I've got some set up where there is a teacher in the district still, but in a different building, and they're getting feedback from them. But I think they like being in the building with the person they're getting their feedback from, because they can have some conversations and can go back and revisit some things and ask questions and follow up. They're not as fond of the other somebody not in their building, and I would have told you just the opposite prior to this.
Interesting. So that familiarity has created a frequency that the other way does not. Is that right?
Right. Yeah. And I have got some that there's just that one teacher in that building, so they don't have the luxury of having somebody in their building. But in the discussions where I've got several in one building, they like that. So.
You know, one thing I thought about while we're doing this is, if I'm a principal and I'm observing a Spanish teacher, I can observe good teaching. But the content, if they're talking on that, would be good to get with another district to do that, to have a peer observe. That's where I find it beneficial, some area like that I have no knowledge of. Yeah, I don't know. The other thing is, my first step will be contacting another district. And I didn't even thought about this until just now. I apologize. I probably should have thought about it earlier, but why not with a neighboring district? We could share a camera. I mean, they don't have to go out and buy one, but we can share a camera to go back and forth between people we want, like, for example, the Spanish, or some area like AP, or some area like that. I mean, that'd be optimal for us.
And I'm a fan of the virtual model as well. Just dual purpose as well. I like the fact that you could get great lessons and use those for teaching and as a resource for other teachers, you know, if those teachers allow us to do that. I was hesitant about getting in this pilot in the first because I had so much on my plate, but I'm so thankful I did it now. It's, again, we had the same thing with weather, and we're going to have some observations that will have to be finished in that last window, but regardless of how that's worked out in the chaos with the camera, I can't imagine trying to figure this out next year, having not had the opportunity to work through it and make mistakes this year. So I'm just glad we were part of this piece and just sitting down and I think this is probably a piece of all the stuff that's coming at 50/50 committee has to figure it out. I know I've been to several meetings, really this peer observation piece and who to get on that and how to do that. I've not been to a meeting where there's been that much guidance on it, so I can't imagine what districts are doing that not been, you know, privy to some of this information and these experiences.
This is Jana Bass. I think you don't have to have a peer that understands your content, but it's a win-win when you do.